Hey guys, come on a journey with me. I'm going to show you how to remove and replace a rear wheel bearing on your 2010 Dodge Caravan. It's going to be a walk in the park. First thing you got to do, jack up the vehicle and remove the wheel. You should have 5 19mm wheel nuts. All right, we got 2 18mm bolts here for our caliper anchor. Once you get those out, you should be able to take this off. Looks like the disc does not want to let go, so we're just going to hang this whole thing up. Our new wheel bearing comes with a new wheel speed sensor, so we can just literally undo this. All right, your connector is like down underneath. Should be kind of near the center of the van. We need to unplug that. Okay, so this red lock needs to move upwards. Now, there's a little red part of the lock that's on the bottom. I always like to push that up. It seems to release pretty nice. And then you can push on the bottom of this clip from there. Doesn't have to fully remove. You can see this connector is actually broken. Normally there's a tab that sits right here that you'll push down on, and then the connector pieces should release. However, this one's missing it. So what I'm gonna have to do is go in from behind and just slip in there, hopefully. Okay, so there you go, unplugged it. You can see right here, this tab needs to lift up. And like I say, normally there's like a button, little tab that you would press down on that's right near the red lock. Anyways, get that unhooked. Yeah, normally guys, the disc, the caliper just comes off, but the brakes are all rotted together, so I just took it off as a whole unit. But normally you would just take the brake caliper off with the anchor and all the pads and everything as a set, and then just hang that up and then take the disc off. So normally you're not going to see it like this. Anyways, now that that's off, next thing we got to do is take 4 bolts out. That's the only thing that holds the bearing to the axle. So let me, I can already feel how rotten the bolts are in there. So I'm sure they're not going to want to accept a socket very nicely. But let me figure out what size we need. All right, now we just got to go do the rest of them. That's not even on there. All right, guys, that's all 4 bolts. Really helps if you have a long extension to get in there because the coil spring's right in your way. But once you get all 4 bolts out, now we're going to get the hammer and we're going to hit the back of the hub right here to try to get this thing to come out. It's probably going to be nice and rusted into the axle for us. There you go. You can see it's taken half of the axle with it. All right, this thing was probably what's left of the backing plate. There's probably a steel backing plate that deflects heat and stuff away from the brake hose, and I'm sure it's been gone for many years and years, so we're just going to throw that out and not reinstall it because it doesn't need it. And if your vehicle has a backing plate, there's probably only this area right here to hammer on. So, and I'm sure the backing plate goes around and blocks you from hitting it. So. All right, so the bolts that come in the kit, unfortunately, are too long. You can see the size of the original ones that came out of it. And you can't physically install these. They'll run into the back of the bearing. You'll never get it tightened. They're too long. So, seeing as we can't use these, I mean, maybe we could, but I'm not even going to chance it because once they're in there, they're a pain to get to. And if they strip out, well, I don't have a 15 mil extractor to do the job. So, what we're going to do is actually just cut these to size. And they're M10 by 1.5 thread pitch. And I'm just running this die on here, just threading it on all the way, and then just cutting roughly about where I need, cleaning up the bolt, and we're just going to use these. All right, so we are installing a Mevotech wheel bearing. Now this is their Supreme line, and they offer all kinds of steering, suspension, brakes, many different parts, mevotech.com. And if you want to buy them, you can go to partsavatar.ca if you're in Canada, or if you're in the United States, you can go to rockauto.com. But this bearing includes a speed sensor, and it also includes hardware. However, as you just seen, the hardware was too long, so we're definitely going to let them know about that, and hopefully they fix it. You also get a torque sheet as well. Now, they don't list any torque specs on the sheet, so we've looked them up, and we'll give you torque specs when we go to tighten them down, obviously. It's part of our videos.
This says it's for the axle nut, which it doesn't have because
Yeah, because it's rear wheel drive, there's no axle. But we just did a front bearing on one of these, and it did include the 4-bolt torque specs as well as the axle nut torque spec. So,
OEM's 41 foot-pounds.
Okay, 41 foot-pounds for those 4 bolts. But yeah, you can see we already got some assembly oil on there, and we'll see what these are like. I haven't, we were just starting to use their parts, and they seem to have a pretty good reputation, so we're gonna give them a try. Basically, you've seen, I descaled all of the rust off of the face of this. We basically wanted to just recondition it as well as inside of here. So now that that's cleaned off, I've hit it with some penetrating oil, and that's just gonna help keep that rust at bay and aid in the installation of the bearing. Now, if you look at the bolt pattern in the bearing, you'll notice that these 2 holes are a little further apart than these 2 holes. So the bearing is sort of directional in the way that it goes in. The flange has to be set just right. So now we're gonna go ahead and just set this in here and see if we can't get these bolts started. Set that up in there. We'll go for the easy bolt hole first. The bolts that are supplied in the box are also a 15mm head, so. Yeah, so here's the other tricky thing. The bottom here, I don't know if you know, but in here, this is cut out, so it's a good place for you to stick your hand in there to guide the bolts. As open as it is kind of a bit of a pain. The bolts that come with the bearing are about twice as long. So what would happen is you would thread the bolt in, but before it would bottom out and actually pull the hub and the axle together, the bolt would actually just run into the back of the flange. And I mean, if you ran them down with an impact gun, you'd probably separate the bearing and destroy it. So yeah, this bottom corner one's kind of a pain because the spring is like in your way. It's not very nice. All right, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna go hit the first one again just to ensure everything's torqued down equally. Okay, now we're just ready to basically put the brakes back together again. Now, if you still had a backing plate, like, and it wasn't rotten like ours, you would have to make sure the backing plate, you know, is there and everything lined up, and then put the bearing on. While we have the van up, we're just routing our wheel speed sensor, placing the rubber grommets in their appropriate locations. And then now we're going to probably spray that connector with some silicone spray, just so that the connector will slide together nicely. And that stuff doesn't hurt the electrical connections at all. It'll dry up and evaporate. We just pretty much plug that in, make sure that it clicks and it doesn't pull back out. And then that red lock actually just snaps in there, and it actually keeps that from unplugging basically. So here's the red lock tab. It just slides in, and then it should be pretty much flush, like bottomed out. Then we just connect this to the brake line. I think it goes on there like this or something. Okay, and now we're just going to install our brakes. Just like that. And we got our harness here. This goes something like that. Kind of just stuck in there like that. So let's get these bolts started so that the brakes don't fall off. Now, normally you would want to clean the disc surface. So the back of the disc that sits on the bearing. If you got rust in there, you see how much like rust and stuff is on here? Clean the other side of that so that it's a nice clean flat surface. That way you've got no run out in the brake, as long as the brake's okay, that is. But yeah, if you leave a bunch of rust and stuff, it's gonna get stuck in between the disc and the hub, and it could be like this. And then when you're driving down the road, the disc is gonna be doing one of these, and you'll feel it in the brake pedal. I'm gonna buzz these down now. Oh no, it's not even started. Okay, we're going to torque these down to 74 foot-pounds. That's the spec. Perfect. Okay, now we can finish routing the rest of our. And I think this one goes in there or something like that. All right, so after that, that's pretty much an install. You're gonna wanna put the wheel on, tighten the wheel nuts down in a 5-star pattern to 100 foot-pounds. You're gonna do 2 passes of that. And it's always a good idea to make sure that that disc surface is clean, and also the back of the wheel that mates the disc is also clean. And I think that's pretty much it. After 60 miles or 100 kilometers of driving, you should always do a wheel retorque. Just make sure everything's cool. But if you have any questions, throw them in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. It helps us out more than you know. And like I say, if you want to check out Mevotech, go to mevotech.com. They got all kinds of different parts. And if you want to buy their product, if you're in Canada, you need to go to partsavatar.ca. If you're in the United States, you can go to rockauto.com. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.